Noon was right after all. I noticed something off while reviewing the EEG and reluctantly sent her up to radiology. At first, I doubted the validity of the results, but the technician assured, curtly, that Noon's scan undeniably shows a pea-sized tumor on the right-sided amygdala. They maintain it's benign, despite the unusual ocular appearance. This calls everything into question. The mass's location could impact fear response, emotional salience, and damningly, dreams. And yet, I cannot deny all the evidence to the contrary. I've pondered the ethics of informing Noon. She's already so scared of her body that it will only send her spiraling. I can't risk anything jeopardizing a revelation that might lead to Cece. From here on, anyone listening will think me mad. But the proof is in the pudding. Noon's vanishings, her transpersonal states, they're undeniable evidence of a realm beyond our senses. It's always been on the periphery, but now I know it's accessible. And she possesses the means to enter that domain. My professor's paper posits thus. There are two requisites for entering the quiddity of consciousness. First, a gateway, places hidden amid our world. Second, a means to open these doors. And I assert that keys are primarily cut out of fear. Either I lack his erudition or his mania. My only hope lies in completing my labors. I've not slept in weeks. And if I cannot dream as she does, I'll never know how to enter this nowhere. An ugly autumn night, isn't it, Noon? Swirling mist, they called it on the broadcast. A weather phenomenon unique to the counties. The downpour's not far off. But a gift may brighten the mood. Here.
Oh, it's nearly the same. Red too.
A chrysanthemum, like your parents left you all those weeks ago. An apology, a reminder that I remain as committed to you as I did then.
Pretty.
It's a perennial, so it'll blossom year after year, just like you.
I think I'm ready now to talk about my mum and dad.
Oh, and why now? What's changed?
Because I feel like I'm beginning to forget, and maybe talking will help me remember.
Because you've been away so long, or you literally feel you're losing your memory?
More like I'm losing a part of me. I can't tell, am I the girl here or the one there?
They're one and the same. Given all you've told me, they must be. It's not you that's different, but the physical space around that.
I said I want to talk about my mum and dad. When most kids have nightmares or whatever these are, they go to their parents to feel better. Here, I relive them again and again. And it's all you want to talk about because you think you can find Cece through me.
Noon. The only way to find answers is to discover where you go when you sleep. Talking about your parents would be wasting the hours.
Aren't these sessions supposed to be about me?
Always.
But I've no say, no control over how I feel or what I do. I don't even belong to myself. I'll do as you ask, but promise me. No tunnel walls. had no choice but to follow the stream, and so I did until I reached a section where I saw storm drains above.
All wrong die.
Looking up through one, I saw a boy's dirty boots and orange light shining from a lantern on his waist. We locked eyes and he called out, "Look, critters already!" Lights then shone down from every drain above, other boys and girls wanting to peek at me. Very suddenly, they went quiet. I didn't know why until I heard it, a rumbling through the tunnels. They whispered together, "It's here, finally here." Do you feel what I felt, Otto?
They'd been waiting for you.
Not exactly. Their joy, their bratty excitement. They gathered for an event and it had finally come. Like a holiday that only arrives once per year. Running from their celebration, I turned down a tunnel, going until I came to a junction. Overwhelmed by how many options surrounded me, I closed my eyes, listening. The sound came from the path to my left. I waited, watching from a distance as someone crossed by the dark tunnel mouth. He carried a strange gadget, and every now and again, its buzz turned to some beeping, detecting secrets in the waters. I hardly noticed the rest of him, but I got a look before he crossed out of view. He carried a heavy sack over his shoulder, and things squirmed inside. But he was gone as quick as he'd appeared. The sludge was rising quickly, up to my ankles, and the stink became so awful, Otto. Imagine it, waste filling your nose. Then, across from me, a small pipe became blocked, stopping the sewage. A grey mass poked through, jammed in tight, wiggling to get loose. But not until it fell into the sludge did I realize this tiny thing was alive. It picked itself up and swayed about, curious of my company. The head was shaped like those cone mushrooms that grow out in Hatefield. I inched closer to the little mushroom fairy, and it began mimicking me, as if we'd been old friends.
A friendly presence. The first non-hostile being you've met that wasn't another child.
Yes, he belonged there, in that world. Part of it rather than a stranger, like me. Is it working, Otto? Can you see its little mushroom head?
I think so. Maybe. Keep going.
Yes. Drift away, Otto. Drift away. That little body clicked, jittery and ungraceful. Somehow the thing seemed to know where it was taking me, stopping only once we came to a rusty door, leading to a maintenance room. Entering, though, I discovered something else entirely. Endless piles spread about the room, some of pure junk, while others house gold jewelry. As long as it could be collected, there was a place for it here. Mesmerizing. Only after examining a mound of keys did I understand where this stuff came from. Everything in this room had been dropped down from the world above over the years. The only thing out of place was a child's propeller cap on a chair, tucked away, forgotten. I think that's what the mushroom fairy wanted me to see. As if on cue, I heard the man approaching. The little creature hid in a pile of mismatched mittens, and I jammed my way in too. I peered out as he stepped through the door and began dumping out his pockets. Coins, rings, trinkets. Next, he took off his plastic suit, covered in gunk. Beneath was a bony body, his spine bent horribly. What I thought had been a sack carried over his shoulder was the back of his head, like a balloon full of water throbbing and swollen. But I could tell he was not always that way. He'd changed, somehow become one with the sewers.
I don't understand. You believe this place transformed him?
Aren't you meant to be drifting into hypergoglia or whatever? Seeing, smelling, hearing as I did?
I can't seem to let go. I want to, more than anything.
Try! That's what you always tell me. If I'm trying my hardest, you have to as well. From the corner of my eye, I noticed the little cone sneaking away. The balloon-headed man was inches away, and in that moment, I thought of Jester, of the child with gooey hair, of Rusty. I couldn't do nothing, not again. Thankfully, that rumbling from earlier returned in that moment, stronger than before. The shaking destroyed the man's piles, startling him into an odd anger. So I stumbled out from hiding and bolted for my mushroom fairy, then out the door. I ran, and though the man wasn't very fast, that didn't matter. He had his gadget, and that buzz followed wherever I went. Any sense of direction washed away with the sludge that was now up to my knees. Turning down tunnel after tunnel, I stopped, hoping I'd lost him. All at once, those lanterns shone from above. The naughty kids had spotted us. Wildly they sang, snatch a gift before they're all sent adrift. Their cheers grew and I saw why. A bag-headed shadow appeared at the tunnel's far end, cutting me off. The man and his machine knew the tunnels as if the sewers had leaked into his thoughts. I tried to backtrack, but must have taken a wrong turn and found myself at a dead end. A wall of bricks. The mushroom fairy squirmed hard, begging to be freed. So I let go, and the grey cone climbed up a pile of fallen rubble and slipped through a crack without hesitation to abandon me, despite saving its life. The crack the fairy squeezed through began spouting water from the other side. I pulled at the bricks as the man stepped closer. One brick loose, then another. His gadget buzzed and buzzed when I ripped the final brick loose, leaving a hole large enough to creep through. He baited at the wall, grabbing at me, but I was too far gone. His small, milky eye peeked through at me until the walls rumbled, more fiercely than ever. The man backed away, overcome with horror. The rumbling didn't stop after that. And neither did the kids cheering from above. Whatever they waited for. It was time. Otto, you're awake.
Yes, Noon. I'm trying so hard to see, to feel, to sense what you did, but I can't. I don't have the gift you have, and your gifts are not as commanding as I'd hoped.
I'd trade places with you in a heartbeat. I wish I could give you everything in my head. Then I'd be rid of all of this. Shall I go on?
Yes.
It felt as if someone had picked up the sewer, shaking it with rage. Water crashed against the walls. I stumbled on and on, the tunnel growing wider and wider. A second smaller sound appeared. Clicks and murmurs. Then, out of the darkness ahead, they appeared, scurrying so fast I couldn't react. 100 little mushroom fairies, rushing past me in a panic, escaping something close behind. It wasn't long before that something came. Speeding like a pack of horses tangled together, a tidal wave pounded through the sewer. The wave was feet away when I finally understood. For the kids above, this was a blast. They waited and waited, unable to experience the wave's power themselves. And that made them love it all the more, snatching things that ran from its path as part of their awful celebration. The violent wave hit, sweeping me away, carrying me back through the maze of tunnels. I swam up and up, doing my best to surface, and just as I did, the waves paused. My body no longer needed to swim. And the candleman appeared, floating on some kind of broken door.
Go through your encounter diligently. He holds the answers we need. Make no mistake. He is your tormentor.
I'm not sure that's true. This time, I was able to speak in his presence. Why do you bring me here? What do you want? He replied. Cross the sill. Sink in a twinkling. Cast aside the old sleep. Sleep again, anew. I yelled back, why? Why should I? Before I finished, he said, blight, not within, but without. Here, all banes be set free.
More riddles. He doesn't think I can solve them, but I will.
I already did. I think he means by giving myself to his world, I won't be ill any longer. That's why, when I'm there, no more headaches, no more parasites, no more tests.
That's not true. It's not.
I would almost prefer him to take me.
Don't say that.
Away from here. From you.
It's what he wants.
Maybe.
He wants you.
Maybe your Cece felt that way too. Relieved.
It was only a boy. We're done tonight. Get out. To your room. Go.
What's this?
Nosing through my desk, were you?
My name's on it. It's my scan, yes.
Smart girl.
What does it tell?
That you've got a mass growing on your brain. A tumor.
I knew it. The cure. How bad is...
A mass in your brain is never good.
You should have told me. Why? Why didn't you tell me?
It's not my practice to tell before necessary. Now, get to bed.
Fine. But after the candleman spoke, the wave carried me by the maintenance room again. The bag-headed man looked through a window, terrified. He was opposite to those kids above. Living down there, he'd no reason to celebrate the wave. Instead, he cherished what they dropped down by accident. You see, each wanted what the other had, but could never have themselves. I'm taking 2 sweets tonight.
Take as many as you want and leave. Perhaps I was cruel to tell her. But as she sleeps, I've been pondering the entry requisites specified by my professor. I believe he was only partly right. One need only look at the theatre of agony that the ferryman's created to understand fear is an essential requirement. And I know better than anyone, a little fear can compel us towards discovery. As for the gateway's location, perhaps it's not a place hidden in our world, but in our minds. Is it not possible that her tumor is somehow this unknown gateway? An organ of transcendence. The apparatus may be unfinished, but its oneiography monitor is functional. If she's to cross over in a twinkling, what choice do I have? In her words, you must try. She hardly stirred at all while I pathed the BCI. All seems stable. As soon as her dreaming begins, the monitor should translate neural signals into visualizations.
Otto.
Shh. Return to that sleep of yours. It's past midnight. She fought as long as she could, but finally succumbed. This is it. Show me, Noon. Show me the other side. Here we are. The image. A kaleidoscope of black. An unnatural abyss. Wait. Shape. It's difficult to see. Like looking through a negative mist. There. A silhouette. Ovular. Splitting across the center. Ah! It glares like the sun. Oh no! A pupil made of light. Oh God! It's watching me. It's watching me. Ah. Noon!
just listened to the 5th episode of The Sounds of Nightmares. You're listening to The Sounds of Nightmares, an audio fiction series from the world of Little Nightmares. Chapter 6. The Lonely Way.
I repaired what I could of the apparatus, and though the monitor remains broken, I dare say it's as close to completion as it will get. I installed feedback resistors to maintain signal fidelity between host and guest. Though who knows if it can hold off that leering horror from the other side. However, the most critical component is the least reliable. The oniric medium to carry the frequency. Noon. Two nights prior, I feared she was lost permanently. Another transposition, which lasted longer than any previous episode. Only as the sun rose did her body return, manifesting in the south wing courtyard. Ever since, Noon's been confined to her room under continuous observation. He must have let her go. Why? Huh. To toy with me, so that I might feel powerless. Zahi's gaze. The moonlight hits the painting, recalling our first session. Yes. The image is clearer than ever. She will be my astrolabe, my guiding instrument to locate distant shores across an ethereal ocean. If I cannot get to the ferryman, she will bring him to me. Take your leave, with my thanks.
How what? Oh, it's you.
How are we this evening? That's a first? You've got nothing to say?
Don't feel like talking.
To anyone or to me?
Do you see anyone else?
That's your prerogative. Nonetheless, I came to listen.
No, you never really listen. No flour or cake this time? To buy me over?
I shouldn't have told you.
believe that. I know your lies well enough by now. Mum once said that keeping the truth from others can't change it.
Even if it spares unnecessary pain? The growth is likely benign, harmless.
No, not knowing hurt me more. I didn't know a tumour was growing in my brain, but I felt it this whole time. You're fibbing again. It's not benign at all, is it?
I don't know. What I do know is that the body often knows something's wrong before the mind. The key is learning how to tune into its station to listen.
That's your specialty, counsellor.
And now is the time to open our eyes and ears to your body. The time to let me in.
I'm rather done with machines, with tests and with you.
It will work, this apparatus. Finishing it has stretched the bounds of my knowledge, which I vowed from day one. It holds the capacity to connect our brains so that I may see through you into the nowhere. I can help you like I've always promised, but only if I can speak to the ferryman.
Who?
Candleman.
No, you said ferryman. Why did you call him ferryman? That's what she called him, isn't it? Cece. She saw him too.
That's why he's the only one who can help me understand.
Understand what?
Everything!
I've been poked at, studied, talked at, and hooked up to medical machines, and for what? For... my head! A fire burns in there, and I want to sleep. But I'm afraid at the same time, and that nurse is always interrupting!
My machine requires you to be asleep, Noon. The dormant brain generates theta waves, patterns which the device uses to align neural pathways through a computer interface. Once our brain waves are tuned... Well, do you remember when we considered mutual dreaming? This facilitates that experience.
I don't understand anything you just said.
We can face your monsters together.
This machine... it means I get to sleep.
Deeper than ever before.
Metal spider webs.
What? Oh. These are resonator caps. One for each of us. A mesh of filaments transmit electrical pulses between our brains via the interface. Non-invasive, harmless. I'll put mine on first to show you.
I've changed my mind. I want to go.
There's no going back. Some sweets to put yourself at ease. Take them.
3. I don't want any. My stomach feels so ill.
Take them.
All right.
As you drift off, let's start as we always have. Where did you travel the other night? Last time you slept?
As soon as I closed my eyes, I drifted through an endless dark. After what felt like hours, I found myself in a musty, cluttered room. Mountains of patterned fabrics piled against the wall. A long wooden table was covered in scraps and tools, and a machine whirred behind the closed door across from me. A familiar, faint smell. Candy apples. And enchanting sad music. Against one wall was a rack packed with clothes. Too big for me, but just right for the armless faceless mannequins around the room. They even wore outfits already. A white wedding dress splashed with dark stains. A purple suit and red bow tie. On a third mannequin, a black velvet cloak. At the foot of a table, I discovered a wooden chest and lifted the lid to see it stuffed with smaller outfits. A doctor's coat, a pink tutu and shoes, and a yellow ring.
Was anyone else around?
Only the puppet.
What puppet?
On the table among spools of thread and needles and bits of ribbon, rusty shears stuck through his torso, pinning him down. I could almost feel the blades myself. He had a wide face, painted with a wide downturned mouth, sagging cheeks, glimmering black eyes. Twine with frayed edges dangled from his arm. The only one he had. His clothes were rough worn, dressed like one of those carnival people at Rusty's show. I leaned in to get a closer look, and he trotted to life, grabbing my leg. He yanked until I fell and struggled to break free, kicking at him, but he held tight to my ankle, reaching for a nearby bottle. I smashed it into his head. He let go, and when he stopped moving, so did the music. I jumped off the table into the wooden chest from before. With the lid shut, I spied through the keyhole a new kind of mannequin in a beautiful dress stood in the doorframe, her back to me.
Sleep your distinctive sleep.
Her little movements were stiff, mechanical. Her body was still while her neck began to twist. Her hair was too shimmery, her lips too wet, and her eyes too glassy, all too elegant to be real or fully fake. When her neck turned all the way, she saw the puppet on the table, the broken bottle. She started jittering. I burrowed into the costumes, trying to make myself invisible. She opened the chest, removed a tan trench coat, sewing closed a tear along one seam. Like the nowhere had been sewing the pieces of me back together, strong again. Pain-free. I tucked away. She took out a gunny sack. One slit. I would be next. No escape. Help! I held the lid closed tight. But I can't keep it shut forever.
She's reached the hypnagogic threshold. I'm connecting our neural relays before she crosses. Harmonizing the frequencies, then I can put myself to sleep.
Someone's opening the chest. Right now.
What? She can't be there yet. It's too soon. I can't see
There's
him.
nothing to see. The perfect baby's gone. Only the dark. All around. Someone's hand in front of me. Sleep and awake. Both at once.
It's slow. Normally it's a second. Better than I'd hoped for. Don't do anything yet.
I was wrong. It's not darkness. It's a kind of mist. A mist so black and thin it only half exists. Oh. That's where I am. The halfway place.
You've been a threshold. Wait for me, Noon. Wait.
I've been here before. With the Candleman.
Close your eyes. Don't move.
I can't. I'm sinking and floating. There's no floor. Only the mist spreading its fingers so I can see myself. As if rebuilding me piece by piece. And above me, or below, the brightest stars you've ever seen, twinkling as a million islands would. I feel I've been going for ages, yet I'm not tired at all. A shape in the distance. An outline of a door. Do you see it?
No, listen. You must wait for me. I'll be there soon. Do not go towards that door without me. I'm so close.
Whichever way I turn, the door is straight ahead. I'm getting nearer. It's ancient. The color of twilight, made of knotted wood. No, it's a living same time. And the frame. It squirms all about. And there's no doorknob. Only a shape at the center. The shape of an eye.
What was that? Someone at the door?
Come in. But I'm outside now. There you are.
You can see me?
Not you. Him. Listen.
I can almost hear his presence. Almost.
Can you tell me yet? Why me?
Why? Did you take my sissy?
Only youth blooms, petals pure, but uprooted, spoils wait within.
In the door. Where are we going?
No, stop. Is she in there? Where is my sister?
A world as wide as the deep, and narrow as the well.
I'm stepping through.
Sink into these tideless waters.
He's taken my hand, welcoming me to the other side of the door. The stairs here go every direction at once. Otto, if only you could see it. More stars. Constellations and rings around a pulsing red moon. No. Not a moon. Not stars either. They're all eyes, too. Every size and shape you could imagine. Watchful. Shimmering. Blinking. Their light dripping down into the dark mist. I feel them looking at me. Into me. And they like what they see.
Don't let the door close. Leave the girl. Please leave her with me.
The counselor. He wants to come.
Too long in the tooth. I feed the spectrum's other end.
I don't understand. Oh. He's been talking to you this whole time.
I earned this. All my life I've waited. Let me cross forever. You hear me? Invite me to your...
Otto says
A toe dipped, but to plunge you must be pushed.
the door's changing now. Thumping. No. It's the image in the frame that's changing. A blur of faces. Children. And... I'm sorry, Counselor. The door's drifting away from us.
How do I enter? I need to know. Tell me how to cross. Tell me.
A quarter will be granted. The toll set in torments, not yet paid.
I have nothing to give. What else do you want?
Sleep. Sleep now, Ruth. Sleep into nowhere.
Take my hand again.
I want it.
Not you. The Candleman. I'll be lost without him.
Where are you? Please. I need to see my sissy again.
The smoky fingers are mixing with the blinking eyes. And the moon is opening up, swirling all around. I feel like me again.
Give her back! Give her back! Do not go without me! Give her back, damn you!
But it's still there. Why is it still here? That darkness. That's the secret. It hides in this place. My body knew all along.
Where are you? No! Please! Not again. She abandoned me. She wanted to get away from me. Oh, Sissy, did you abandon me too? No, of course not. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have. How could you leave your little brother behind? Oh, no, you wouldn't have. I swear I could hear what she was hearing. Couldn't I? The ferryman. He said, a quarter will be granted? For whom? And a toll was to be paid? To enter the nowhere? Is that right? It could have been meaningless drivel. Another trick. If only I could sink lower and lower, all the way down, until I wake up again. What a terrifying burden this is, knowing the laws of space and time are blithe to themselves. Her dream still lingers within me, descended upon my being and into the county's. I've done nothing but weigh his words over and over. If the ferryman spoke some arcane truth, there's another way to cross the threshold. And when I do, the path will have been paved with bricks of fear. I will review every tape, uncover every secret. The answers lie therein. So nearly, so nearly was I swept away. Ethan, you shouldn't be out of your room. Oh, somnambulism. Your dreams have led you to me, then. You're sleepwalking, that's all. A common parasomnia in children. But if it's a new symptom, that could indicate something has changed. What? Oh, the mess. I was looking for something I lost. but I think I've just found it. Let's get you back to sleep now. And tomorrow, together, we'll dream and dream and dream until we sleep again anew. Hold on, before you go. Take one, my good boy. That's right. Sweets for my sweet.
You've just listened to the last episode of The Sounds of Nightmares, based on Little Nightmares from Bandai Namco Europe. This episode was written by Eugene Myers and Lonnie Nadler. The series is produced by Louis Creative, which is part of the Louis Media Group. Our writers are Mike Bambridge, aka Super Horror Bro, It's Just Jord, Eugene Myers, Lonnie Nadler, and Supermassive Games. Editorial supervision by Adize Debar and Lonnie Nadler. Noon is played by Amy Pursehouse, and Otto by Kester Lovelace. Lonnie Nadler is our showrunner, and Thomas Rosès directed, edited, and mixed the episodes. The music is composed by Tobias Lilia and Thomas Rosès. Marion Girard is head of production, and Lucille Rousseau-Garcia is our producer for Louis Media. Lucas Roussel is executive producer, and Adize Debar is our producer for Bandai Namco Europe.